Grab us on Dreamcatcher Radio for the open window every Wednesday, 12 to 2, where you never know what you'll hear from the open window. We share stories, chat, music, and who knows, you'll just have to go and join us.
Okay, I want to start with a little broadcast from Mark Williams Thomas. He's an ex-police officer. He's pretty much well known, actually, in all fairness. He does a lot of true crime, detective crime, where things are unsolved. He's currently doing a series at the moment as well. He's a busy guy. I'm just going to play this clip for you because I want to talk about something else on the back of this. Just to give him some recognition, because it's his work in this clip. You can follow him on TikTok at MWilliamsThomas, at MWilliamsThomas, and he's angry, and I am too, and that's what I want to talk about now.
I've got to tell you about this because it's made me mad. King's Counsel Anu Mahindra has been allowed to continue being a barrister despite falsely claiming that he'd studied medicine at Oxford University and that he was a qualified doctor, a lie. He also claimed that he played cricket for the Bar, for Lashings Cricket Club and for the MCC, and that he was a cricketing blue, having represented Oxford in a varsity match against Cambridge. Again, another lie. A tribunal initially disbarred him for telling the Chambers during the interview, and what they say it was reckless, foolish and completely unnecessary to lie. Well, he appealed that, and at the High Court, Mr. Justice Johnson has overturned Mahindra's expulsion, stating that it would be wrong to impose the ultimate sanction merely because dishonesty is present. I'm sorry, so you've got a barrister, KC, and you are saying for merely being dishonest, it would be wrong for him to lose his job. This world has gone absolutely mad. Let me know what you think.
Now, I agree with Mark and what he's saying there. The thing is, I've witnessed it in court, and I've overheard conversations outside court, not only between lawyers to one another, or barristers to one another, or KCs to one another. I've seen it in the courtroom where they whisper, you can actually hear it, and they're like, the Law Society is the most protected society, I believe, in the UK, perhaps around the world. And it's supposed to be the foundation of truth, but in all honesty, it's a facade. I've been in meetings where lawyers have said, on KCs as well, where at the time QCs have said, we won't mention that, will we? And the same with lawyers in the same meeting representing their client, and the QCs on the opposite side. I didn't hear that. So truth is supposed to be a foundation, and it ought not to be bent. But the fact is, it's true. I got something towards the latter end of this, which I think is really important. But we see it all the time. It's not in plain sight, but I'm boring. I sit in courtrooms when I can. I've not done it for quite a number of years, but used to be a hobby of mine, like plane spotting. But truth should be a fact. When I look at, like, when people are arguing and putting their propositions forward and that sort of stuff, I don't understand why agreed evidence cannot be agreed. We both agree on this, we both agree on that, we both agree on this, and we both agree on that. We don't agree on this, and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really happen. To be honest, it's theatre, really, in the courtroom. Judges have amazing powers. The bit that I don't get is how they get to decide what evidence can be heard and what is excluded. I get the point of relevancy. I kind of get that a bit. But what the jury is allowed to see and understand, I don't understand how judges can amend court transcripts. They have to prove them before being sent out. That's got to be so wrong. The court system is and does have a problem. Massive problem, especially with technology and moreover, more lately, the invention of AI. This is a point I want to make. I've got personal first-hand knowledge of this. Do KCs need to be honest? And the obvious answer is yes. Of course, they must. But the real question, are they? Because honesty is not just about avoiding lies. Honesty, in my opinion, is about following, to the best of your ability, the letter of the law, which is very complex if you want to make it complex. But what about this? When you've got a defense team and a prosecution team working in tandem, is that just? Is that right? I don't think so. I don't think so. What about this? If someone pleads guilty on behalf of someone else, and the KC knowingly, full well, that this is happening, and the person says, "Is this legal?" and the KC acts like he didn't hear it, but he's standing right in front of him, and the instructing solicitor is right next to them. I can tell you for sure it's illegal. It's not even a grey area. It's not a loophole. It's not a technicality. It is illegal. And yet it's allowed to happen. It keeps the wheels of the courtroom turning and avoids complications. It avoids delays. I remember once I was in a magistrate's court waiting to help someone with a case. And I was sitting in the courtroom just waiting, basically. And I heard the prosecutor talk to the clerk and say, "Have a look at this watch." I was hoping it'd be a lot heavier. It was a domestic violence case. And you can frown on me all you like, but and then the clerk lifted the watch and said, "Yeah, that's really light. How could that cause any injury?" Because the watch was thrown at this person, this woman, and she had no injuries, because I learned that later. And I went to the toilets, just going for a quick toilet break, and I said, "Is your case involving a watch?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I've just heard those talking there, the prosecution and the clerk, and they're saying this watch is pretty much weightless. And how could it cause the injury that she purports?" Now, you could look down on me because there could have been other domestic violence issues and the like, but I think justice should stand on its own 2 feet, or I call four-legged table. If one falls, one of those legs falls down, they all fall down. And justice should be natural. Anyway, so his case was before the case that I was helping the person with, and his first argument was listening to, obviously, the prosecution, And the prosecution said, I kid you not, this woman suffered a brutal attack from this watch. A brutal attack. This was an egregious act against this woman. And it caused her severe injuries and PTSD. And the first thing, obviously, the defense counsel said, can you let me feel this watch? And that was his defense. And the case was struck out. But it just shows the extremities that prosecutions will go to. I saw a video today about where the the police were looking to pin a case on somebody. They just focus on the person, not looking at the evidence or anything. And there's a murder case. And these people were not nice people, though, I will say. But they didn't commit the murder. And but the police were adamant that they're on the right track. But thankfully, other police officers took it over and realised that they're not murderers, they're criminals. And they do all the nasty stuff that you normally see about in order to pay for their drugs. But lawyers, cases do lie. They do lie. And they plead ignorance. And it's a betrayal, really, in all honesty. It's a betrayal. But there's nothing you can do about it. It really isn't. There really isn't. In our society, if you're going against a body like that, it's extremely difficult. It's so time consuming, you'll probably die before the time you get an appeal in your favour. That's the state of our society. But this guy here, as Mark rightly says, well, he didn't say this, I'll say it now, should be disbarred. Should be disbarred.
The guilty truth is not always the defendant's. Sometimes the guilty truth lives in the institution, in the report, in the decision that was made before the hearing started. Pillar 1, Judicial Integrity Commission, for the truth that wears a robe. The guilty truth wore a gavel on the bench. The guilty truth came dressed in the stench of conflict undisclosed, the bias unrecorded. The guilty truth, a decision that was hoarded. Pillar 1, Judicial Integrity Commission. The audit starts every decision, every pattern, every conflicted part. The guilty truth can't hide when oversight is real. Pillar 1, the Judicial Commission breaks the seal. The guilty truth, Pillar 1 exposes it. The guilty truth, we're done being quiet, independent oversight of every robe and bench. The guilty truth, we're washing out the stench. Fair go movement, accountability today. The guilty truth, the commission's here to stay. Every pattern, every conflict, every bias law. The guilty truth, the system's getting called. Without Pillar 1, the misconduct stays in-house. Internal review, the quietest of mouse. The complaint goes in, the colleague signs the form. The guilty truth, protected by the norm. Pillar 1, external, independent, no conflicts allowed. The guilty truth can't hide behind the crowd. Every judicial decision subject to review. The guilty truth, Pillar 1 comes through. Judicial misconduct is not about bad people. It's about unchecked power. When there is no external oversight, when the only review is internal, when colleagues review colleagues, when institutions protect institutions, the guilty truth gets buried in procedure. Pillar 1 is not about punishing judges. It's about ensuring that the truth cannot be buried by the institution. truth ends here. The guilty truth ends here. The guilty truth. Pillar 1 exposes it. The guilty truth. We're done being quiet, independent oversight of every robe and bench. The guilty truth. We're washing out the stench. Fair go movement, accountability today. The guilty truth. The commission's here to stay. Every pattern, every conflict, every bias law. The guilty truth. The system's getting caught. Fair go movement. Pillar 1. Judicial Integrity Commission. The guilty truth has a name now, and it's not yours.